No plus ones for you, my sister said about her wedding. We're keeping it intimate. Her fiancé's entire frat got invites. I'm a widower. My plus one was going to be my daughter, age 12. I RSVP'd decline. She texted, "You're really not coming?" I replied, "Nope, but I'm still sending a gift." I sent her a screenshot of the $40,000 venue deposit with my name as the payer, and a venue status update sent at 11:59 p.m. Wedding was the next day. My daughter Lily stood in front of the hallway mirror in my sister's rental house, smoothing the front of her simple navy dress with both hands. She'd practice that smile you do when you're trying to be brave. The one that says, "I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine even when you're not." "Do I look okay, Dad?" she asked. Before I could answer, my sister Kayla appeared behind her holding a clipboard like she was running an airport. Kayla didn't even look at Lily. She looked at me and said, flat casual, like it was a seating chart problem, "Oh, Steven, you didn't bring her, did you?" I blinked. "Bring who?" Kayla finally turned her eyes to Lily. Not warm. Not me either. Just blank. Like Lily was an extra chair she didn't order. Kayla tapped her clipboard with her acrylic nails. "She can't be here. No plus once." Lily's fingers froze on the fabric of her dress. I felt my throat tighten. "Kayla, she's 12. She's not a date. She's my daughter." Kayla sighed like I was the one being difficult. "I told you we're keeping it intimate." And that was the moment my brain did that slow stun thing where you can't tell if you misheard, because in the same breath, Kayla added, "Also, the guys are about to show up. Please don't start anything right now." "The guys," I repeated. She looked annoyed now. "Dylan's friends from his fraternity. They're like family to him." Lily's eyes flicked to mine. That little glance kids do when they're trying to read the room and decide if they're safe. I could hear music coming from the backyard. I could smell barbecue smoke. I could hear laughter. This was supposed to be a wedding weekend, supposed to be family. Kayla waved her hand toward the front room. "Just have her wait in the car or something. We're about to do photos." Wait in the car like she was a coat, like she was a bag. I didn't explode. I didn't yell. I could feel my hands shaking, but I kept my voice low because Lily was right there holding herself together. "Kayla," I said, "you said I could bring her." Kayla's mouth tightened. "I said you could come." I stared at her. "You know, I'm a widower." Kayla's eyes rolled. "Steven, don't make it about that." Lily swallowed hard and whispered, "It's okay, Dad." That whisper hit me harder than Kayla's words, because Lily was trying to shrink herself to make it easier on everyone else. That's what she did when she felt unwanted. And I knew right then that I had made a mistake by bringing her anywhere near my sister's version of family. I bent down gently so Lily wouldn't have to look up at the adults towering over her. "Hey," I said quietly, "it's not okay, but you don't have to fix this." "I do," Kayla huffed. "Are you leaving?" "Because if you're leaving, I need an answer for the coordinator." I stood up slowly. I looked past Kayla into the living room where a stack of welcome bags sat on a table. Little ribbons, little tags. I saw names on them. Dylan's frat brothers had names. They had bags. My 12-year-old daughter, who had spent 2 weeks helping me pick out a gift, didn't even get permission to stand inside the house. I turned my head slightly and saw a group of guys in matching polo shirts walking in through the side gate, loud and red-faced, already acting like they owned the place. Kayla smiled at them. A real smile, the kind she hadn't given Lily once. That was the shock. That was the injustice. That was the public humiliation. My daughter wasn't just excluded. She was treated like a problem to hide. I took Lily's hand. "We're going," I said. Kayla's head snapped around. "Steven," I didn't argue. I didn't plead. I didn't do the thing I'd been doing for years. I just walked Lily out the front door. And behind me, I heard Caleb mutter loud enough for Lily to hear, "Of course, he has to be dramatic." Lily kept walking, chin up, eyes shiny. When we got to my truck, she didn't cry. She just asked in that small, careful voice, "Did I do something wrong?" My chest felt like it cracked. "No," I said, "you didn't. Not even a little. I'm Steven." I was 41 at the time. I owned a small horse ranch outside a dusty Texas town where everyone knows everyone's truck and everyone's business. My wife Hannah died 3 years before that wedding. Cancer. Fast and cruel. The kind that doesn't care how good you are or how hard you pray. Lily was 9 when we lost her mom. She became quiet after that. Not withdrawn exactly, just careful. She still laughed. She still loved animals. She still drew horses in the margins of her school notebooks. But she watched people more. She listened more. And she noticed every time someone treated her like she was extra. After Hannah died, my family didn't step in the way people pretend families do. They stepped in with their hands out. My parents were the worst for it. But Kayla learned fast. It started small. I hate to ask, but just until next month. We'll pay you back when things settle. Except they never did. $1,000 here for my parents' property taxes. $2,000 there when Kayla's car unexpectedly broke down right after she bought concert tickets. $500 a month just temporarily for my mom's credit card minimums. I paid because I could. The ranch did well. Not fancy rich, but steady. And in my head, paying was easier than fighting. Especially while I was grieving, especially while I was trying to keep Lily's world stable. They knew that. They knew I didn't have much left in me to argue. So they used that, and the whole time Lily was treated like a guest. Not a grandkid, not a niece, a guest. She'd bring a drawing for my mom, and my mom would say, "Oh, that's nice," and set it down without really looking. She'd sit at holiday dinners while Kayla's kids were asked about school and sports. And Lily would get, "How's a 5th grade?" Even the photos told the truth. Someone always forgot to call Lily over, or she'd be in the very edge of the frame like a background decoration. I kept thinking they'll adjust. I kept thinking they're just awkward with grief. I kept thinking Kayla's just stressed. I kept thinking a lot of things that made it easier to stay in the pattern. And then Kayla got engaged. And that's when I learned what I actually was to them. Not family, not brother, not son. I was a wallet with a pulse. Kayla called me one night, voice sugary. "Stephen, I know this is a lot," she said, "but the venue needs a deposit to hold the date." I was in the barn office, smelling hay and leather and the damp night air coming through the screen. Lily was at the kitchen table doing homework, humming softly. She always hummed when she was focused. "How much?" I asked. Kayla hesitated, like she wanted to sound humble. 40, she said. 40,000. I actually laughed at first because it sounded like a joke, but Kayla didn't laugh. "Stephen," she said, "it's my wedding. It's once and Dylan's parents aren't helping. They said they're tapped out." I rubbed my face. "Kayla, 40,000 that's not a small ask." "I wouldn't ask if I had another option," she said quickly. "It's just a deposit. It holds the date. Then Dylan's bonuses will cover the rest." I knew that was a lie. Dylan had been about to get a big raise for 2 years. Kayla added softly, "Mom said you'd understand." Of course she did. Mom always volunteered my money like it was a family resource. I should have said no. I should have paused and asked for paperwork and contracts and names. But Kayla did the one thing she always did. She pulled Hannah into it without saying Hannah's name. "You know," she said, "Hannah would have wanted you to help. She loved weddings." My jaw clenched so hard my teeth hurt. Lily hummed in the kitchen, and I did what I always did. I tried to keep peace. I wired the deposit. My name went on the payment confirmation because the venue required the payer's information, and Kayla said it was easier. I didn't fight it. Then it kept going. $2,000 for Kayla's dress because the seamstress needs the money now. $6,000 for flowers because the florist won't book without full payment. Another $3,000 for the rehearsal dinner because Dylan's parents promised. But then every time it was urgent. Every time it was my problem. And every time I tried to ask about the guest list, Kayla brushed me off. "Oh, we're still finalizing. Oh, it's complicated. Oh, you'll see." The more money I gave, the less information I got. That should have told me everything, but I was tired. And grief does this thing where you'll pay any amount to avoid more conflict. That's how they got me. The +1 thing wasn't random. It was the final shove in a long pattern. A pattern where Lily was tolerated, not cherished. a pattern where I funded family events while my child was treated like an afterthought. A few weeks before the wedding, Kayla called and said, "Just so you know, we're not doing plus ones." I was feeding horses. The wind had that hot, gritty Texas bite. No plus ones at all. I asked. "No," Kayla said. "We're keeping it intimate." I paused. "So Lily can't come?" Kayla sighed. Stephen kids changed vibe. I stared at a Gelling chewing calmly, completely unbothered by human nonsense. "She's 12, I said. "She can sit quietly through a ceremony." Kayla's tone sharpened. "It's my day." Then she added like she was offering a compromise. "Maybe she can come to the brunch the next morning." The brunch. After the wedding, after the photos, after the important part, I held my phone tighter. "Kayla," I said, "Dylan's frat brothers are coming." She didn't deny it. She just said, "That's different." "How?" I asked. "They're adults," she snapped. "So were the bartenders. So was the DJ. So were the guys Kayla barely knew, but invited because they matched Dylan's story. My daughter didn't match. That's what it was. Lily didn't fit the picture Kayla was trying to sell. Widow or brother. Quiet kid. Less cute for Instagram. I didn't say that out loud. I just said if Lily isn't welcome, I'm not going. Kayla laughed like I was bluffing. "You're seriously going to miss my wedding over this?" I didn't answer because I didn't want to fight on the phone while Lily was in the next room. Kayla ended the call with whatever RSVP by Friday. That night, Lily sat at our kitchen table coloring a card for Kayla. She'd drawn 2 horses with wedding veils and tiny stick figure people in cowboy boots. She'd written in careful letters, "Congratulations, Aunt Kayla. I hope you are happy." She looked up at me and asked, "Can I wear my boots?" "The clean ones." I felt something cold slide through my stomach, because she still believed she was going. She still believed she belonged. I sat down across from her. "Hey, kiddo," I said gently. "It looks like the wedding is going to be adults only." Lily blinked. "But I'm not a baby." "I know," I said. "This isn't about you. It's about your aunt making choices." Lily stared at her card, then nodded once like she was accepting a rule of nature. "Okay," she whispered. "You can go. I'll stay with Mrs. Ortega." Mrs. Ortega was our neighbor, an older woman who loved Lily like her own. Lily was offering me a solution, so I wouldn't have to choose. That's what broke me, because kids shouldn't have to manage adult cruelty. I reached across the table and put my hand over hers. "No," I said. "I'm not going without you." Her eyes widened. "But it's your sister." "I know," I said. "And you're my daughter." She swallowed hard. "Will she be mad?" I stared at the little card with the horses. "She might," I said. "But that's not your job to fix." Lily nodded again, but her mouth trembled. And I knew I was done letting my family teach my kid that love is conditional. I RSVP'd, declined the next morning. I didn't write an explanation, just decline. Within minutes, Kayla texted me in all caps, "You're really not coming." I read it while standing by the pasture fence, watching Lily brush our old mare, Daisy. Lily's shoulders were hunched, focused on the rhythm of the brush like it was therapy. I texted back, "Nope, but I'm still sending a gift." Kayla replied almost instantly, "Stephen, don't be like this. Dylan's going to be embarrassed." Embarrassed. Not "I'm sorry," not "I went too far," just worried about Dylan's feelings. I didn't reply because I realized something. Kayla wasn't going to understand words. Kayla understood consequences. And the truth was I had been avoiding the biggest consequence of all. I had been funding the life she wanted while she erased my child. I had been paying to be treated like an inconvenience. And that made me feel sick. So I went inside my house, sat at my kitchen table, and opened my laptop. I pulled up the email thread from the venue, the contract, the payment receipt, the confirmation that said plain as day, deposit received, $40,000, payer, Stephen, last name, event date, Saturday. Kayla had insisted on putting it under my name because it's easier. I had thought it was just paperwork, but paperwork is power. If your name is on the contract, you are the client. If you are the client, you can cancel. I stared at the screen for a long time, not because I doubted my decision, because I pictured Lily's face in that mirror, smoothing her dress. Try to be okay. Then I pictured Kayla smiling at a pack of frat guys while telling my daughter to wait in the car. I felt that cold steadiness settle in, the kind you get when you're done being negotiated with. It was already late. The wedding was the next day. Most people would have said it was too late to do anything, but I knew venues. I hosted events at the ranch sometimes, small ones, corporate retreats, a few weddings. I knew that if you called the right number and you had the contract details, someone would pick up, especially when there's tens of thousands on the line. So I called. The venue's after-hours coordinator answered with a tired voice. "Thank you for calling," she said. "How can I help you?" "My name is Steven," I said. "I'm the contract holder for the wedding tomorrow. I need to cancel." There was a pause, a keyboard clicking. "Sir," she said carefully, "the event is tomorrow. The deposit is non-refundable." "I understand," I said. More typing. "Can I ask why you're canceling?" she asked. I looked out the kitchen window. Lily was on the porch swing, legs tucked up, holding her sketchbook. She was drawing Daisy again, like she needed something gentle to focus on. "Because the bride doesn't consider my child part of the family," I said quietly. "And I'm done paying for it." Another pause. Her voice softened a fraction. "Okay," she said. "I'm going to verify the contract information." I gave her the contract number. She asked me to confirm the last 4 digits of the payment method. I did. Then she said, "All right, Mr. Last Name. I have you as the client. I can cancel the event. The deposit will remain with the venue. The remaining balance will not be charged." That was the key. The remaining balance. Kayla hadn't just gotten $40,000 from me. She expected me to cover the rest, too. She had been calling and helping, but the venue had my name on the whole contract, meaning the balance would have come after me, probably through a card on file or a bank draft. I said, "Cancel it." She asked, "Are you sure?" "Yes," I said. Then she said, "Okay, I'm processing it now. You'll receive an updated status email." I watched my email inbox like it was a heartbeat. At 11:59 p.m., it came through. Status update. Event canceled. Client, Steven, last name. Deposit retained. Balance due, $0. I stared at it. My hands were steady. My chest felt lighter. Not happy. Just clear. I took a screenshot, the part with my name, the $40,000 deposit line, the status update timestamp. Then I opened my messages with Kayla and I sent it. No caption, just the screenshot. For 30 seconds, there was nothing. Then Kayla started typing. She called. I didn't answer. She called again. I didn't answer. Then the texts came in like a flood. "What is this?" "Steven, are you out of your mind? The wedding is tomorrow. Call me right now. This is psychotic. You can't do this to me. You ruined my life." I read them all, and I felt something strange. Because for years, every time they treated Lily like she was optional, I had swallowed my anger. I had told myself to be the bigger person. But the moment I touched their money, then it was a crisis. That told me exactly where I stood. Kayla finally texted, "You're really not coming." Like we'd gone in a circle. I replied, calm, simple, "No." Then, after a beat, "I'm not your backup bank." And I put my phone face down on the table. The next morning, the day of the wedding, my phone was a living thing. It buzzed. It shook. It lit up my kitchen counter like a warning signal. My mom called first, then my dad. Then Kayla again and again, then unknown numbers, then Dylan, then Kayla's maid of honor, then my aunt, then my cousin who never speaks to me unless she needs something. I didn't answer. I made Lily pancakes, the kind with chocolate chips that Hannah used to make on birthdays. Lily sat at the table in her pajamas, hair messy, holding a fork like she wasn't sure if she was allowed to enjoy herself. "Is Aunt Kayla mad?" she asked. I flipped a pancake and said, "Yes." Lily's face tightened. "Is it my fault?" I turned the stove off. I walked over and Crew told her to look at me. "No," I said firm. "It's not your fault. It's not because of you. It's because of what your aunt decided and because I finally stopped paying for disrespect." Lily blinked. Then she whispered, Okay, she didn't totally understand, but she understood enough. She ate her pancakes slowly. Outside, the Texas sky was wide and bright, like it didn't care about weddings or drama. After breakfast, we went out to the barn. Lily brushed Daisy. I checked water troughs. We moved like we always did, steady and simple. Then my phone buzzed again, and I made the mistake of looking. A text from my mom. How could you humiliate your sister like this? Humiliate. Not how could Kayla exclude your daughter. Not what happened, just shame. Then another. You're punishing everyone because you can't move on from Hannah. That one made my vision go hot because that was the lowest move in the family playbook. Use my dead wife as a weapon when they're losing control. I put the phone back in my pocket and kept working. But my hands were shaking now, not with doubt, with rage, because I realized they would rather rewrite my grief than admit they were cruel to a child. Around noon, Kayla finally texted something different. Not anger, panic. The venue won't let us in. They're saying it's can-led. Stephen, please, I'll let her come. Okay, she can come. I stared at that message for a long time because the offer was so empty, so late, so transactional, like Lily was a bargaining chip. I didn't reply. I didn't want Lily to ever feel like her place in the family depended on negotiations. Instead, I opened my notes app. I wrote one sentence. Then, I copied it and sent it to Kayla, my mom, and my dad in one group text. I won't fund a family my daughter isn't part of. That was it. No speeches, no threats, just a line. Then, I blocked them for the rest of the day. The fallout hit exactly the way you'd expect. They didn't show up with apologies. They showed up with guilt. They showed up with blame. They showed up with how dare you. My dad drove out to the ranch 2 days later like he was coming to inspect cattle. He got out of his truck, slammed the door, and stood by my gate with his hands on his hips. I walked up calm. He said, "You cost your sister her wedding." I looked at him and said, "She cost my daughter her dignity." He scoffed. It was one event. No, I said it was the pattern. My dad's eyes narrowed. You're acting like Lily some kind of victim. She is, I said. And the fact you can't say that out loud tells me everything. He stepped forward. We're family. We don't do this to each other. I nodded once. Exactly. My dad's face tightened like he was trying a different tactic. He lowered his voice. So what now? You're just going to throw 40 grand away. I held his gaze. And this is where the truth finally came out. I didn't throw it away, I said. The venue kept because the deposit was non-refundable. My dad's lips parted. He'd expected me to get the money back. He'd expected me to teach a lesson and still be their financial safety net. I kept talking, but I saved myself from paying the rest. I said, and I stopped being the guy who gets used. My dad's jaw clenched. You're selfish. I laughed once, short and tired. I paid your taxes, I said. I paid Mom's credit cards. I paid Kayla's dress. I paid your truck tires last winter. I paid and paid and paid, and you all still treated my kid like she was in the way. My dad pointed toward the house. Your mother's been crying. I didn't flinch. I'm sure she has, I said. Lily cried too. Quietly in the truck, but you didn't show up for that. He stared at me like he didn't recognize me because I wasn't bending. I wasn't apologizing. I wasn't trying to smooth it over. I said calmly, I'm done. No more money. No more help. If you want a relationship, it starts with respect for Lily. My dad's voice rose. You think you can set rules for us? I said, they're not rules. They're boundaries, and they're not negotiable. He stood there a moment, breathing hard. Then he did what he always did when he couldn't control the situation. He left. He got back in his truck and drove off without another word. Kayla tried different approaches. First, she went angry. She sent a long text from a new number because I had her blocked. You ruined the most important day of my life. I hope you're happy. Then she went dramatic. Dylan's family is talking. Everyone thinks I'm trash. Then she went fake sweet. Stephen, can we just talk? I miss you. Then she went for Lily. Tell Lily I'm sorry she feels excluded. Sorry she feels excluded. Not sorry she was excluded. Not sorry she was told to wait in the car. Not sorry frat boys mattered more than a kid. Just sorry Lily had feelings. I didn't respond because I knew if I opened the door, even a crack, Kayla would shove her way back into my accounts. Instead, I did one more concrete thing. I went through every payment I'd been making. The temporary monthly transfers, the auto pay I had set up for my mom's card, the loan repayment plan for my parents' property taxes, and I shut them down one by one. I didn't announce it. I didn't send a dramatic message. I just clicked cancel transfer, cancel auto pay, remove linked account. Then I changed my banking passwords, and for the first time in years, my money stayed where it belonged, with me, with Lily, in our actual home. Not in the pockets of people who treated my kid like an inconvenience. The silence after that was loud. A full week went by with nothing. No calls, no texts, no surprise visits. Then the panic hit. My mom rang from a block number and left a voicemail that sounded rehearsed. "Stephen, we don't understand. We're your family." I deleted it. Kayla texted only one thing. "Mom's credit card is past due." Not "How's Lily, not can we talk?" Just a bill. A few days later, Aunt ROF called. She always brought extra pie and watched quietly. "Honey, I heard," she said. I braced myself, but she surprised me. "I'm sorry." Then Kayla's telling people you're bitter and controlling. But she forgot we all saw how she treats Lily. That hurt because it meant adults watched my child get erased for years. Before we hung up, Ruth added, "Your parents have been using your granddad's land income like it's theirs. Look into it." And it clicked. This wasn't just the wedding. The whole system was built on me paying and staying quiet. Not anymore. Stephen isn't vindictive. He's a widowed father who spent years funding family while they excluded his 12-year-old daughter. When his sister banned Lily from the wedding, no plus once, but invited her fiancé's entire fraternity, she revealed the hierarchy. Strangers got welcome bags. His grieving child got told to wait in the car. The exclusion proved the pattern. Stephen paid $40,000 for a venue where his daughter wasn't welcome, but frat brothers were family. Canceling at 11:59 p.m. wasn't revenge. It was consequences. What this teaches: when family tells your child to wait in the car while strangers get champagne, they've shown where she ranks. Exclusion wasn't accidental. Lily didn't fit the image. You can't fund respect for your child. Stephen's money subsidized Lily's eraser, while family grew comfortable treating her as optional. People who weaponize grief to extract money won't protect your child. His sister invoked his dead wife to guilt payment, then banned his daughter. Boundaries need consequences, not conversations. Words failed. Canceling the venue and stopping auto payments finally translated. Access requires respect for his daughter, not just his wallet.